that? Like, look, I got somebody new. We fired that Jay Peckham guy. I don't even know if he'll be watching. He probably will for a few moments. He'll be back. Don't worry, folks. We haven't completely replaced him, but I got my friend Nick Maass. You're down from how far away?
It's about an hour and 10-minute drive. Woodstock area, Oxford County. So.
Okay, let's pull your mic a little closer there. We can't hear you. There we go. Don't be afraid to yell. Jay Peckham does it all the time.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you coming down. You've been coming down just kind of the tail end of the season. You've been helping me out, and we've been talking a lot of hockey. And we just want to get your kind of perspective on, we're watching the first period of hockey here right now. We're, like, let's take a look at this here right now. We're 0-0, shots on goal, 12-5 for Windsor. And the last two of those really just came in the last, like, 30 seconds of this hockey game. What are you seeing out there?
Well, I'm seeing Team Windsor. I'm pretty sure they were sitting at 4th in the CHL, so that says a lot. Coming into this playoffs, we already knew that we were going to go into a challenge. Most of their guys out there, they're 17, 18-year-olds, so we got a relatively young hockey club. Windsor, they got a great crew this year, but if we played with teams like London and we defeated them 10-4, we should be able to, at least win a couple games in this series. Yeah. But Sarnia's got to put everything to win that.
Right. Well, we've seen a lot of power plays and penalty kills, and I know my friend Jay Peckham will talk about it, but like, we were really in the penalty box a lot in this first period, don't you think?
Unfortunately, when you take those penalties, you're going to be playing from behind a lot, and that's not ever a good thing to do in the playoffs. Stay out of that penalty box, get underneath their skin, but when they come at you, just step away. I even tell some of the guys that I work with back at home, the Woodstock BB vets, when they get to you, you gotta stay cool, stop taking those penalties that are really unnecessary, and just stay 5-on-5 for most part of the game.
Yeah, well, and especially at this point of the game, the Sarnia Sting can't really afford to be in the penalty box against a team like Windsor, who is definitely at the top of their game, so to speak. So coming out into the second period now, what do you think needs to happen for the Sarnia Sting to win this game?
Well, with them being, majority of them being really young players, they're really jittery right now. This is their first ever OHL home playoff game.
Right.
I think that plays a huge factor. They really need to settle it down. It's really choppy play out there, unfortunately. Just go back to the basics, relax, go back to the way you guys were practicing all season long, and just have faith that you guys can play. You guys can play up against a tough team like London. Windsor should be no different than that. So.
Right. Okay. Well, Nick, thanks for joining me here. We'll we'll have you back again soon. Take those off, Jay Peckham. He's got a look on his face. I know he's ready to jump in here.
Sounds good.
Decent crowd down here, and now you heard what. So I don't know. You couldn't hear much of Nick Maass saying.
I couldn't.
But he's talking about spending too much time in the penalty box here. Even like Ty Voigt, who we don't really see in there a ton. We need him out on the ice. We need everybody out on the ice. And while the penalty kill did come through, we didn't take advantage of the power play that was out there. It was a weak power play, I thought, for the Sarnia Sting. And shots on goal, 12-5. Thank you, Ben. Again.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I gotta feel. I mean, as a fan, I'm sitting there and I'm getting all frustrated.
We were way up top, and I'm like, I could hear him over there.
Oh my goodness, it is. Well, it's terrible. Some of these penalties that we're getting called for are just. I don't get it, right? I mean,
I don't get it.
We got DeGursey taking a holding the stick penalty, and I'm like, I'm sitting 3 rows off the ice right now, and I can tell you. In no uncertain terms, Nolan DeGursey is not the only one holding the stick out there. Okay. I mean, Windsor is just as guilty as everybody else out there, but
so they're picking on us, are they?
Well, I gotta say, I mean, if you're asking me, do I understand the frustration of the Sting around the officiating and the penalties and things like that? I'm gonna tell you, Dave, in no uncertain circumstances, yes. I'm feeling frustrated for them. And you can see it because the play's getting a little chippy out there.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Yeah, well, it is. It's
when we get chippy, is that shots of desperation?
Well, I think it's frustration. It's a lot of little things, you know. I mean, well, maybe even some big things. You know, we need to win this game. Like that's, you know.
The pressure is totally on the Sarnia Sting right now.
Sure, and
there's no pressure on Windsor.
And you get a few bad calls, you know, that just make no sense. You know, you're right. You're right.
I do get what you're saying.
But I mean, it just seems real lopsided right now, and you know, I mean, who am I? I mean, I'm just some fat old guy in the stands. Well, but I mean, still.
That's why we're.
I'm frustration. I am frustrated.
Okay, so fine, the referee thing, but we still got to play hockey. We're coming out of the second period. You know, the last, we were like 11-3 shots on goal. It was only in the last, I don't know, 25 seconds that they added 2 more shots on there. And while I saw we were getting in the way of Windsor on the penalty kills for sure. I thought we did. Of course, we did a great job because they didn't score.
Yep.
And we seem to be good at that, as we've often said.
And we played, you know, we controlled the puck for a lot of those penalties, which was really well played.
Yeah, getting control of that puck, but then, like you said, once we get frustrated, things start getting chippy out there. And there were a couple of times where I thought, ooh, you know.
Well, Windsor's pushing our buttons. I mean, if they
they're a fast team.
They are a fast team, and if they know that we're going to get a little upset by a little pushing and shoving, guess what's going to happen?
Well, and we've talked about that. The rumor around the OHL is if you can get Ty Voigt out of there, if you can get a couple of key players moved off to the side and push a couple of like that's not a rumor. That's the conversation around the OHL, so to speak, that if you can do that. Now, the other key is, a lot of people have been saying, if you can do that and come out and get 2 goals against the Sarnia Sting in the first period, you've really got a great chance of winning.
And
so
we're not there at this point, which is a good thing. You know, again, you know, Sarnia's doing a pretty good job. Ben Gaudreau standing on his head. Yeah. You know, the people who are needing to do certain things are doing certain things. What we're not getting is the shots on goal. Well, that's, you know, they're waiting for that, just the perfect moment to make something happen, and it's like they're waiting for the highlight reel. We don't need a highlight reel.
Just need to win.
A dribbler, you know, a 5-hole, you know, just a, you know, trashed in play that you make something out of just by sheer persistence. Any of those would count. Like, I mean, we just need to get pucks in, and we're not getting inside. Still, if you noticed on our power play, we're playing right out at the blue line.
I was going to say out of the blue line and way out to the left and right. We're not we're not pulling it in tight in front of the net.
And we're not collapsing on them and getting guys inside. We don't have the guy playing in front of their goaltender. And when we're on defense, they play that diamond formation defense on the penalty kill, and the problem with that is it puts a guy, literally one of our guys, right in front of Voigt. And if the Spits aren't putting somebody in the crease that guy's got to get out of there, then we're wasting a guy standing in front of Gaudreau, because Gaudreau, you need to leave him an open channel so that he can do what he needs to do. I mean, that's fundamentals.
And I want to say too that well, we had one power play, right?
Yep.
And that power play, we didn't earn that power play. Like we didn't force the penalty on to Windsor. That was a call that was like, yep, right?
Too many men.
So
yeah, I mean,
so we didn't.
That's a coaching call.
Right.
That's what that is.
So we didn't force that penalty, whereas the penalties we've been taking have been forced upon us. Pressure points, right there, right? And so we need to turn that around the other way. If we're going to get a power play, it's got to be earned.
Yeah, and I think, you know what, we've got to be able to do that too. Again, it's about realizing what can rattle Windsor and pushing on that button.
What does rattle Windsor?
Well, not much at the moment, honestly. I mean,
well,
they're
what do we
playing
need to do to rattle Windsor?
See, well,
what's the conversation in the locker room right now?
Well, I think you gotta split up. It's the you know, the key players. the real challenge here is that Windsor's got their top 3 lines are deep in talent.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they've got some real depth to their front end, and that's where we as a distinct we're not real deep. We got to find the right pairings. We've talked about that before. We've got to find.
I think we'd have some of that worked out by now.
Well, but it's hard when you got guys coming and going. Burke was a great fill.
Yeah,
He was
definitely
great
missing him there, yeah.
on any lineup that he was on. Filak had a couple of really great weeks a few weeks ago, and he just hasn't found his groove again. He's not there, because he used to be that guy. You could put him on any lineup and he would do the job. So it's about finding the guys that can work together right now, and you got to be able to match those lines against those top 3 lines with Windsor. Otherwise, our top line is going to be needing to play their top 2 lines.
Right, and they can't do that the whole game, because now you get tired, worn out, maybe a little hurt,
and then our top
we can't
line
afford to play hurt.
And our top line is on all our special teams too. So, the more penalties we take, and we have to put out the PK, which is, a lot of our top lineup, we're going to be tiring guys out, and that's.
Well, I like to say, get back to the fundamentals, the basics of hockey. Long passing.
Nick guy said that too, didn't he?
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he said basics.
You think? Oh, maybe.
Basics, fundamentals.
I said fundamentals. I don't remember.
Sure.
What, you don't think I'm smart enough to come up with that on my own?
No, I think you're just.
You got all this.
I think you're just doing.
You got all this fame in the parking lot. I used to have fame in the parking lot too, but it was for something else. Anyway.
Yeah, nice.
All right, so we're sitting here right now, 0-0. So we're first period, second period. But I think the speed's going to have to be picked up here from the Sarnia Sting. Windsor, a little bit bigger team than us too, as well.
We're going to have to make the passes count.
I'm predicting Nemesnikov to get a goal tonight.
Well, I think, you know what, if we can start hitting the passes, they're trying the stretch passes. The problem is they're passing in behind guys and they're passing into the skates of guys. Right. And that's never going to work out because, you don't have and I want to see more of that one-timer stuff around the net. We almost saw it there at one point, DeGursey and Voigt. But Voigt just took that extra second to try and make that shot perfect. And if he had just done the one-timer, he would have had lots of open net to work with.
We're not getting points for fanciness here tonight either,
no,
right?
No,
we don't need any wraparounds. We don't need any Michigans or anything.
No.
We just need to find, as you would say, the empty spots of the Meshy thing right there.
Yeah, the Meshy thing, baby.
And, and really, honestly, Windsor, great goalie there. You're going to have to... You're really going to have to earn it from this goalie there.
He's really stood, he really has shown his mettle over the last few games, and he's made a lot of the difference, and clearly the Sting haven't quite figured him out yet, so
well,
I'm hoping we can.
Got to start figuring it out pretty soon, as we're 3 minutes away from the Sarnia Sting coming out here into the second period. Of course, as well, we'll have post-game press conference. Definitely going to be interesting during playoff hockey. Jay Peckham will be back joining me here again as well. So, as always, thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'm David Burrows on behalf of my good friend. Good friend right here.
Go Sting, go!